Phoenix or on the Waylay. He was super impressive. I do agree with what was said on the desk, though. I think that this first map is a must if Leviathan are going to have a chance in this series. Their ascent has been phenomenal, but they are still against NRG.
Well, we're starting out here with an attack side for Leviathan, and indeed, when we talk about the pool, we'll have this conversation with Lotus and Pearl up next. I think it's fair to say Leviathan need to show up here. The start sees Neon almost go down. A wall keeps him alive as he'll breathe deep into the round. But NRG have a bit of info right off rip. They see the chamber. Not too much can be done with that. And with no further contact coming in, you have to expect NRG are going to get curious and look for some info soon. The flash is primed and ready. Down to the timing, and well, it looks like they're going to just concede that after hearing a bit of noise.
Yeah, of course, a big part of this Phoenix is going to be the grasping of those orbs, giving Sato the extra lease of life. But in this pistol, it's very slow and controlled. We talk about Leviathan and their flair. They are taking their sweet time and moving their way back towards Scuba on the other side, still with his thorns available. With how little time is left, these could cause issues.
This could definitely be a problem. You can see 25 on the clock. Thorns still up and online. And now Leviathan start to make their way towards the site, but no one is there. Grog's the closest. He's up in heaven, and even that flash could have been a chance for him to strike, but Scuba's the one to pick one off on the side. Now, advantage sat in their favor. Time to prime for that retake, and it'll take a while they allow Mata to group up with the rest of the squad.
Man down. Flash from Vice is gone, but they still have one remaining for Kiko. Counter stun to slow them down, and the trade's coming back already. That attack side just dealing death, but even still going back with just one man standing. The IGL to try and turn things, and the swing out from King was a little bit risky, but he's going to take the fight and win it. It's a pistol once again for Leviathan, a big part of their game yesterday, and they found another.
Spike scene, huge stun from him. That is what changes the play here. Instead of NRG coming down like a waterfall, it's a couple of droplets at a time. Much easier to manage for that attack side. And it was that timing. The second the Phoenix flash bloomed, it came in. Coming so close in the end, you can see if there wasn't that bit of disruption, this could be a very different early half. Instead, Leviathan 1-0 start, and NRG, well, the classics in their hand now. You can see it is going to be an eco. No force buys like in the previous game. Expected here on the defense, but it looks like they're going to try a crunch on mid. A little bit of a bait set up on short. There's some serious opportunity, especially with the star there. Nice grab, well, change the game, but oh, they're going to isolate those fights very nicely on Leviathan.
Well, still further aggression coming through from the defense.
Mid. One enemy
trying to work with the strength in numbers, and already managing to get a couple of kills. Neon, of course, was only playing with the Headhunter, but on 5 HP has now retrieved a rifle. Of course, the chamber kind of allows them just to pad these a little bit with less weaponry having to be purchased, and still finances to rebuy back up into the next round if they keep these alive. You can see for Brog, the only goal is to trap one. If they walk into his crosshair, maybe he gets a kill. That's a weapon onto the ground. If they go the other way, unfortunately, well, maybe you're giving an extra orb away anyway, or you're just going to go down to the spike.
30 seconds
see
left.
That spike's moving to the right side. They're coming in the right direction. Really, you can't expect much more than damage from Brock here. That's got to be the highest bar that he could reach, but there's the first. That's all he's going to get. Decent stuff from NRG, considering the round that was in it. Leviathan started out by dealing with the short play, but oh, the crunch on mid worked wonders. It's still a 2-0. And what's been interesting so far, Tom, is just how slow those attack rounds have been from Leviathan. Even there, they're in a 3v1. They waited a minute. They are very happy to slow this down on the attack, and for NRG, it's very much going to limit their early aggression. But they're enabled to go for. Although, we could be seeing some towards B.
I was mentioning along the desk that they like to sort of have that implementation of Neon, like planting him in position and then giving him an opportunity to try and find those openers. It's what made that chamber so deadly to deal with. Kiko's timing the flash is good, but he's caught himself as well.
No charges left.
He'll just have to fall back, and bear in mind that Sato has that run it back available for him into this round if he needs it.
Just a little bit too far away for that flash to land as needed. Second one fired out here towards A main. Nobody spotted. Leviathan had the spike there, but much further back. And again, this is going to be a slow attack side. A minute on the clock as they were just outside the A site, but now a change in direction again. Phoenix Wall, the blaze allows them to cross, or at least it should. But Big Boy Brock's already come in with one. The reveal broken right away, but look at this sneaky play by Scuba. He almost got one. If King wasn't mid-TP, he'd be out of the round. And it's already advantage for NRG. Leviathan luckily make it to the site without too many more fights. They'll get themselves a plant.
30 seconds left.
I like what I've seen from Mada though. I think he's cleared all of B main and wrapped back around. Of course, it's something they'll have to clear again, but it means they know there's no one flanking. Sato though! Oh, past and 3 immediately! Just looks to take over the round. He almost did it all in his ult. That was on a timer. And guess what? He's still alive! An ace to bring a third round home! This is why we're excited about this guy!
Well, that was a bit of a slow start for Leviathan. They were happy to run the clock down, but now when the time was against them with this ult, they end up picking up most of the team and finding it all in the end. A gorgeous play for Sato. A huge round for Leviathan as well. Remember, they made it out of the last with 2 rifles. It means reinvestment having to be made potentially. If they were to come in strong in that round, it means risks for the early half. There was a chance for NRG, but that has been stolen away, and then now Leviathan are going to run away with the lead. 3-0, likely a 4th. Oh, a bit dangerous here for King. He's under a lot of pressure. That paranoia saved him, and luckily he's got teammates close by. Spike scene in here in a flash. And now this is dangerous once again. 7 shots left over the flash. Oh, Shadow somehow gets away with that anyways. If he falls there, this round is competitive. It may still be if Scuba can pull out a big play, but they're waiting for him. In fact, no, they're walking into him. This is dangerous with the bandit up this close. One found, and Neon luckily finishes it off. An easy 4th round it should have been, but a bit more labored in the end.
How is that closer than the last one? I was gonna say, like,
as a player didn't aim.
How often have you seen someone get 4 kills with a run it back? I don't think I've ever seen it. Sato definitely something special. 1 out, 3. Yeah, that was a bit more of a nervous woo. But we are going to see the purchase coming back up. NRG wanting to get back on the horse. They've at least kept the economy a little bit more honest, but there's still quite a lot of credits available. Their ultimate's building up, but it's whether or not LEV can keep this momentum going with an operator now into the hands of Neon. This is normally where he's the most dangerous.
It has been a splendid start for Leviathan so far. A 4-0 lead. Winning this round would skyrocket them into this map, and the one that we said is so crucial for them to take. Nice opening as well by Spike Zine. Leviathan have got to be on cloud 9. This was a fake towards A, but it's worked for the pick, and now they move towards B. Let's jump into the comms.
Vamos passando pra B. Pior que levar pra aqui, tá? Tô frisando um pouco.
Dá pra escada, dá pra escada.
Volta, só volta. Calma, maquele. Posso abrir com você aqui. Tô aranha, já, tô aranha.
Esperando você aqui.
Vamos voltar pra viado.
Tô abrindo.
Tá.
Vou abrir pra base.
Sai aqui.
Nada, tô indo pra.
Vai ficar aqui, viado.
Mano, quer que a gente faça? Mano, quer voltar pra B ainda, viado? Vamos fazer um fake A e voltar pra B. Fica bem então, Bruno.
Eu não tenho nada, Bruno, pra fakear.
Mais um, vamos dar.
Vem,
Só acelerar aqui.
Aceleraram?
Dominar.
Go, go,
No,
go.
there's still players
30
here.
seconds left.
It looks like they still want to go towards this A site with the spike. There could be some challenges before the spike even starts to be planted. Ethan thought about it, but he's going to give it up.
Oh, timing could have been worse for
Spike
Scuba.
planted.
Maybe still didn't expect the player to be lurking behind. Those two have, however, been caught by the ultimate. That gives Ethan a great opportunity. A shorty in the corner, and he's been able to clear. It leaves Neon. But with that smoke now fading, he's going to have to swing this eventually. They're trying to bait him into the fight, and with an operator, that's not the gun you want to grab. Well, oh, he even tries to go through it. But Matter is watching, waiting. And NRG are finally going to get themselves their first round onto the board.
Got a second that they saw him jump peeking in A main. That was it, pretty much done and dusted. Leviathan, again, with how this round started, it looked splendid. This was a fake from Spike Z. Finds the pick, drags, rotates to the A side, opens up the other side of the map, but a little slower in terms of the zigzag. They still make it in, get the plant. But it was Ethan staying alive up top. Just that split-second decision not to try to punish, not to dive out onto the side. I think it was the call from Scuba that the Steel Garden was going to come in. And that's given them a round. But of course, with how Leviathan made it here, they can buy up again. And probably again. Especially as the rounds go on and you see these ultimates. Like the one for Neon coming online. For now, he's only got his operator, and there's one on the other side, holding, waiting, TP taken, and it's stuck all the way. King's now isolated from the rest of the squad. They've got to go through Mata, and that they do. He's on the floor as King tries to hold on for dear life, tries to buy time, and allows Sato to trade. The ult pop tier keeps Sato alive. Even with the spams, he'll go down, but Brock's got more work to do. Eating him alive for 2, but Sato answers back, and with Scuba, the final match ending! It looked like the round was over, but he's got a chance, and his opponent's low. So is he. Oh my God.
He's just sitting. He's just waiting, but Sato hits the shot anyway! Sato did the exact thing that Scuba wanted him to do, and he still predicted the position. He is 12-4 within 6 rounds, and yeah, call a timeout, but the counter to this man just doesn't seem possible. He's already halfway back to his own again.
You remember the head-to-head we were excited about? Sato and, who was it again? Kiko's 1-6. It's been a really tough start for him.
He just got the 1.
Yeah, indeed. Before this, it was radio silence. And on the other side, anything but. These are 2 players who've had fantastic openings to the group stage here in London. But
Sato keeps doing stuff like that because he's getting so much value that he's basically just reinvesting into himself. It's like, okay, I get a few kills while in my ult, then I get another, and I have another ult. He's already had 2. He's halfway to a 3rd, and we are going into round 7.
Nice flash. Neon's forced back, but he has got support deeper towards the spawn. Blows is able to trade, but Mattis, oh, hold on. They've actually allowed him to keep going. The Hunter's Fury gave him the reveal. He's locked and loaded with the op, but the shot from King. That puts us back even. Brings the spike back into the hands of Leviathan. That kill might just have saved the round. It's at least kept it in contention for Leviathan.
Yeah, I think Mata could have easily closed this one out if King doesn't get that kill. Even still, though, the defensive side spread across the map. Brock with his Odin left somewhat alone, but I think after the push, the expectation from NRG side is, okay, maybe they'll go back in towards that B site now that they think they've done enough damage on that side. And especially when you have the full setup from Scuba on the other side of the map, you're going to get some form of contact information early enough that it's worth the risk.
You saw pings go through there. I'm not sure if it was for the wall, but it didn't look like it.
30 seconds left.
I think Leviathan want to fight into the spawn with the door closed. It could be an option, but they're going to break it. Immediately, that's going to tell NRG where this play is coming through. It's going to get Brock locked in and loaded. He's taking all of them. A choke point versus an Odin, and that's exactly what you get. NRG up to 2.
Yeah, love it or hate it. It worked out wonderfully. 5-2. Round starting to break back into their favor, and some huge individual brilliance in the early stages of the round from Mata. A little bit more disruption. And I like that we're seeing that aggression out from NRG. You can't allow Leviathan to sort of put themselves into a position where they will hold ground with the operator and then have that opportunity to execute. So that disruption worked out wonderfully. Already, though, you've heard the tour de force go off. That being for Neon, it seems like the defensive side, though, is going to look to try and get that little bit more aggressive, and they're immediately punished.
Well, some different ideas in this round from NRG. There's still that utility towards the A site. But instead, the Vice setup on B going to try to force their opponents, corral them towards that spot, but they do not run back from the run it back. Instead, Sato stands his ground and takes it out right away. Kiko looks like he wants another bite of the cherry, but they are waiting on the other side. Again, Leviathan's patience has been there from the get-go. It's stopping NRG from making those early aggressive plays that they want to. A bit of control in B main here. At least it's going to keep that rotate. It's going to get that rotation rather towards the A site. Scuba's now here to help out. Still has his utility, and they've got lots of bodies to break through. Leviathan, if they settle on A here, if they leave this too long, this could be a much more difficult push than they think it will be. Kiko's caught in the corner, but this time he won't fall before taking a few.
30 seconds left.
NRG still have a chance, and with time so low, I don't think Leviathan can go anywhere but A.
No, yeah, especially considering the position of King. They have to go that way. Kill will come through, but there's no way back at this point. They have to keep pushing into the 2-stack. Both players here, time ticking away. The run through, Ethan already catches one, and that's potentially the round over already. Neon just has no time. If they just hide, this is already over. And he might get the kill onto Ethan at the back of the site, but it is meaningless. NRG will hold their ground, and the climb back continues.
Yeah, very nice round from them as well. I like the fact that we started this seeing the Vice move towards the B site, putting the wall there as well so they could isolate whoever goes towards the lane. A very strange Vice wall when you look at it on the map, but with how they've been taking space on the Leviathan side when it comes to those B hits, it makes sense. And then when they don't get the contact, you get the ult comes out from Kiko, he sees players short, Mata fills in the space on B main, and then the rotates happen. And that's why they're heavier on that side of the map. This was a really nice round from NRG, putting the pieces together even without that aggressive intel, and this time an opening is handed to them.
Yeah, the wall. It's going to leave one player isolated. That one player is probably the one you have to be most worried about. But even still, the weaponry is weak in this round. LEV don't have much to play with, still hiding in the corner, but with how stunned out they are, it feels like this should be very difficult. Neil's done well though. Mata goes out, but the remaining couple on the site are doing more than enough. Sato's Stinger still is able to get one, but it won't matter in the end. 5-4. That early start from Leviathan is slowly starting to dwindle. And now coming back in with a purchase. I wonder if they lose this next one, if we might see a pause.
See how dangerous that position would have been for Sato if they were on site, if they had the spike crossed already, but the wall just delaying that little bit longer.
One enemy remaining.
It slowed them down, it allowed NRG to get into position. A 4th round on the board as a result, and what started out as a lights-out performance from Leviathan now become a much more modest series, much more modest lead. 1 round to the good for the attack side. Presence on A. They showed presence B and went there almost right away last time. NRG already starting the rotates. Vice utility on that side of the map. It leaves only Mata to defend this side. He spotted the chamber. Got that to work with, but
this has been the standoff.
Peak.
It's happened all the way through this game so far. These two knowing that the other is on the other side. And I think they know on NRG how important it is to try and keep that control. With the time ticking down, some early presence being shown elsewhere. I'm looking at the run it back, of course. It's had so much impact so far, but with that Vice wall ready, at best, it should be an isolated fight. And the worry is, again, you're getting down to that 40-second mark. They almost need to bait the wall. Instead, it feels like he's just going to run through it. If he lands this shot, he doesn't. Okay, that leaves Gibson space, but the rest of the players are trapped behind it. Spikescene, though, managed to get through at the same time, and that's enough to find an opener.
And they blindsided for the first, but still Mata to deal with on the site. Nobody can, well, I would say no one can help him out, but Brock has no sight line, but it doesn't matter. Now Mata's found one, but it doesn't matter either. Leviathan right back to winning ways, and only this lane push to deal with. The off is trained in, and it's an easy close for the attack side. 6 on the board for Leviathan, dealing with that Vice setup with ease, and really it starts with Spikescene getting out like this, popping the wall up, and well, Scuba had no notion what he was facing when his vision came back.
Yeah, I think that kill was integral. If they're able to stay alive and just wait in that crossfire once again, I think that's what's been working for NRG, just having the numbers on this side. Mada end up doing fairly well.
Joke's over.
Wasn't quite enough. Again, we're going to see an immediate pop of the ult. This is the thing, they've known Neon is here almost every single round. But can you now punish him? It's more than one pushing up, looking to try and maybe get a follow-up instead. Mada might just be the surprise, but he has to shoot the trap. Now he's seeing the Hunter's Fury to try and give some extra support, but they are sponging up everything that's being sent out by NRG. That could have been such a dangerous moment for Neon, but he just tucks in, waits for support, and now they have a huge advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they really got
Take flight.
blinkered in on that initial kill. Obviously, the idea, as you said, Neon's been taking that B main space. There was one round, I think, where Mada was able to push up, and even in that round, Neon got him from mid. Outside of that, it's been constant control. So yeah, we fight it with the run it back, try to trade out. You understand why Mada's not running with the run it back to take that fight, to take the instant trade, because Leviathan, last time that there was pressure put in B main like that, they had someone, I believe it was Blows, waiting in the spawn, so he could have easily come running out of the smoke. But when that kill comes in, when the Phoenix ult is cancelled
30
out,
seconds left.
they throw the Hunter's Fury at it, they throw themselves at it, and well, that hasn't paid off. An ult and 2 players thrown to the wind. Leviathan not showing any real scars for it. And they've even chosen correctly as they pull the A site from the blind bag. It will be an easy plant.
They are still
10 seconds
checking everything, though.
Spike
You've seen all the
planted.
stuns, flashes, door being closed, tapping the plant, just trying to make sure if anybody's going to swing them, that they are ready for it. But NRG, and you can kind of understand why a lot of the hits have been going in towards that B site. They decide to tuck in on that side of the map, and keeping hold of the weaponry now becomes far more important. The gamble didn't pay off, and you just want to hold on to that additional weaponry. And I honestly think, like, when we were sat there at 5-4, it was far more important for Leviathan on this attack side to really build in, because that's where they've had the majority of their rounds when you go back to their games in Americas, even versus the likes of G2, MIBR, some of the heavy hitters. They've been very good on the attack side of this map, and for NRG, if they had been able to go in even, I think they would have been very happy. But now, the best they can hope for is 5.
Again, that's going to be a
Last
tough
round
battle,
before
but
the
helped
switch.
out by the 3 weapons saved over in this round. At least a decent buy awaits them for their final battle of the half, but Leviathan have been playing like this is a map they need to win from the get-go. Obviously, Sato had some mad rounds as well, but even seeing those first couple attack rounds, seeing how slow they're playing here, you can see that there's a lot of thought put into this map, and for good reason, as you said, when it comes to that veto, Lotus up next, NRG's pick, and Pearl after, it definitely feels like that's where NRG pick up a lot of heat in this series. I like that reveal from the other side of the map. It's giving the idea that there's more players towards A than there actually are. The orb's going to be obtained as well. And now Leviathan gravitate towards the other side.
They know he's going to be here. He's here every single round.
Take flight.
Placed in B main to keep that control. It allows so much in terms of their rotations back to the other side of the map. Again, we've seen a switch up from Scuba setup. While the smoke just used to give Mada positioning, but the fact is, the drone clearing into middle, B main still not under the defender's control. They don't know which direction they're going in, but at least in terms of the heavier sides, they do have 3 players towards A.
As soon as that flash comes through,
Obscuring vision.
you're going to have some problems with Thorns to fight into. The smoke bloomed as well. A molly in from Phoenix, time being delayed, but Neon's waiting to catch these rotations, and there it is. Patience pays off. 30 on the clock, and they think surely he's not here. And now they realize the mistake of this round. Scuba on site. That was a fake TP, but now with 15 seconds to get the plant in, they're rushing A. Still 3 players from NRG here. It's a big mistake from Leviathan.
10
Neon's
seconds left.
lurk is the only grace to be found in this round as the defense locks in 5.
Yeah, I think it was just maybe hoping there was nobody else there, or hoping that they'd all rotate away. But the fact is, neither happened. NRG stand their ground. NRG managed to get themselves to 5. And even with this nasty lurk pick coming out from Neon, it's going to be maybe a little closer than Leviathan would have liked. A pistol going into the next, we could see ourselves even.
Do you guys know where you're going? Like, what?
It was definitely a strange end of the round, but no doubt they thought there was only one player on B. They thought they'd be overreacting.
I think going in with the double duelist is going to give them a lot more of an opportunity to pull out rounds on the attack side. And although we didn't see the best from Kiko, like at the beginning, it definitely seemed like him and Marta were stepping up towards the end. A pistol round could make a very big difference. And as I said, the context of this map feels like one that Leviathan need to win. They're going to have an opportunity, and with their early stack up in towards the B site, it felt like they potentially had the wrong read, but now with deep control, in fact, Neon just pushed all the way into the corner. Depending on when they stop running, he might even hear them.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the shift from the stairs, so no chance for the sound cue to be given away. A contact play straight into Neon, but that's dangerous. Posted on this angle. Headhunter ready to roll, and a TP available to get out of there, but Mata's shut him down. Sato still pulls back that advantage, and he's taken Ethan with the molly. Okay, advantage now sits in their favor, but Kiko fights his way back out. Great flash lands them at least a little bit of a foothold, but well, Brock's the only one standing, caught in the laneway, and it's an easy spam to close him out. A 3K from Sato, who's showing that he hasn't lost any of that first half flare.
No, he's just had a few massive multi-kill rounds, and it feels like even the read wasn't the worst. They knew on NRG that there was going to be a guy in that close right corner. They've expected Neon to be there. The problem is you deal with one piece of the Leviathan puzzle, and there's still a few more quickly looking to close out the round. A second pistol round under Leviathan's belt. It definitely makes this an uphill battle for NRG. No force to be had, of course. No plant in, no extra credits, and now they have to be very careful with a judge waiting on the other side. But it seems like with that smoke placement, they are aware there could be some players around this corner.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here, the same as the previous NRG push-up, take themselves the orb. No surprise it's being farmed up on Kiko. That running back could be very, very valuable, and it will most likely be online when you come into the next round, unless they get out of this with a victory without Kiko going down. And valuable for your first full buy, but
or without him getting a kill, or without or planting, or
yeah, it would be difficult to go in without it. Stampede here to a short.
Careful now.
Met by the molly of Sato. It's going to delay them somewhat. Still 45 on the clock. Still some space. Containing B main as well. They've got options here. Looks like this was, again, just that attempt to fake out. It has not pulled the rotates, though. Leviathan are still patiently waiting towards this B site, containing towards spawn as well for Spike Scene. There has to be mistakes made. And even with one mistake, Chamber gets out of there right away.
25 seconds. They almost need to go down at this point. They're doing some damage. They're getting players low, but they still haven't managed to kill anyone off just yet, and they are just giving orbs over. There you go, though. 2 quick kills, but it's immediately returned on by Spike Zine. It's going to be a 9th for Leviathan, the conversion in hand. And now this is where we need to see the immediate response from NRG. And if you look back to the last half, it wasn't the case. But luckily for them, Sato doesn't have his ult online, and Kiko does.
Yeah, his opportunity to come in with an ace of his own. Maybe that's somewhat of a too big of an ask. Now Sato's having a heater right now, and Leviathan up on 9. A big reason, if not the reason, is that man in particular. But now, as you said, NRG come in, run it back online. We need to farm those orbs early instead. A much more direct play being lined up. Short control being taken as we speak. Flash perfect, Neon sent back. Kiko's gonna pop the ult. Now it's time to hunt down the rest of that damage. Neon's already found one. It's a nice spot up above as well. They ran right past him, but oh, he's gonna get caught. There's a few traps almost sprung on NRG, but they have just about missed them. The blows. If he can get a couple kills, it'd be great.
Yeah, Scuba does excellently as well. They had a B main pushed up, looking to try and come in behind them. Once his wall goes off, he's just locked in on the corner. Make sure that nobody's able to flank in on his teammates. Even going to do well to get himself one closer to the ultimate as well. And this bonus round seeming like there's not going to be much to it whatsoever. Blows with a chance to maybe do a little bit of damage.
Gun here.
At least a Vandal spotted, but of course he's wary that even picking that up might just give the game away of where he is. And instead, maybe just going to try and save this one through. Of course, he's got the credits to buy into the next round anyway, but no point giving over any additional orbs to the other side, especially in a scenario where they're very likely to just be holding onto that post spawn. It will be a 6th round, a necessary one for NRG, but of course, the next round is where Leviathan will get that buy.
Indeed, that's the real meat and potatoes of the game. A trade-off for Leviathan, a round lost, but getting rid of that run it back. It's kind of expected. 3-round gap now to work with. As you said, that there in particular was where I was starting to panic. Brock does an excellent job dealing with him, and the other danger, as you said, that push up in B main, but well-positioned by Swall. Got them all the info they needed. Now the rifle round, though, for Leviathan. Now the op coming out for Neon. And he was a menace when it came to B main in the previous half. This time he'll be on the other side of it, but no doubt he'll still be sticking.
Hello. Wow. Very aggressive start to the round. Spikescene already getting rid of Kiko. You could see how this defense plans to go on these early trap setups, and then they have the operator on the other side of the map. They know that taking away this B main control is going to be integral.
Ultimate's ready.
And in fact, with the Steel Garden online, Neon may just have to make the decision to leave instead. For now, he just holds his ground, waits to see where the pressure comes in on the other side of the map. Of course, Marder almost has to just be taking pre-fire fights because he's already so low.
Take flight.
Drone's going to spot one and be broken. Main thing is Neon getting back on this angle. They put a flash there to try to bait him into shooting it earlier on. He didn't fall for the ruse. They still don't know the danger that's lurking around that. As much as they may suspect it, there's always a chance someone rounds that corner a little too early. Neon's playing the second layer to it as well, a little bit further back, but there is a big problem. Oh, he sticks around! They went a little too early, the op in for one, and now the headhunter's still ready to dish out damage. Brock is left on 15 HP, and the shock dart finds him. Spike down in the lane, 20 seconds to get it planted. And they're not even boots on the ground just yet, getting surrounded. The wall's closing in as Sado comes from spawn. They're on 10 seconds before this plant needs to be found. Time is running out, and NRG are running out of players. Scuba tries his damnedest, but he's got no time. And they're split up as well. They know one may fall, but the other will win the round. Double digits for Leviathan.
I love that from Neon. It truly is just like gambling on the idea that your opponents are going to go just that little bit too early. We know that's the one thing about the Steel Garden that really kind of sucks with the ult, is it takes so long to activate. But even in their heads, they've got to go like, okay, at this point he will have moved just so he hasn't lost the ult. It's not really worth sticking around just at that very last second, but you see the gamble and then just so confident in his ability with the Headhunter to go out for a little bit more. The time ticking down, and more importantly for NRG, the rounds are running out. They are 4 behind. And with Leviathan just 3 away from get rid of him, and then you get caught by it anyway. Like, that's what's got to be frustrating when playing against this guy. And by the looks of it, he might be about to change things up.
That was his TP last time that got him out. Ahead of that Steel Garden. They knew he was in B. They spent the whole round trying to deal with him, push him off the angle, catch him stepping forward, but well, if they try that this time, they'll find that he's nowhere to be found, as you said. Neon, this time in middle. Himself an outlaw, and his opponents have 4 sets of light shields. Well, caught by the reveal.
Go, go, go!
So far, there is a massive danger. One for most players greater than the operator. A 2-barrel off up against light shields. Waiting in mid, but finding nothing. But the benefit here is he's going to cut their rotates. So rotations could come in on the defensive side instead. They'll reinforce this B site. 3 players on hand, and Sado waiting a while to run in with the run it back. He's caught good timing and initiated that fight for his teammates.
Leaving it down to 3 players already. Ethan has done well. But the man with the Odin is still at the back of the site, almost fighting with Brock with his own machine.
30 seconds
And now
left.
Scuba with 30 seconds left, no spike in his hand, and 3 players already in a triangular crossfire. There was never any way out of that position. Leviathan with another well-structured, well-played round. And for NRG, directly after the pause, that is not the reaction you want to see.
And Neon coming in with an outlaw, saving a couple of credits, and now he comes in. Could buy an op, but why would he? He's got himself the Tour de Force online. But Blows here, he impresses me. I think we'll see the fight from stairs. He swings out wide, doesn't even bother ADSing. That was the most impressive part. Fighting Brock at his own game and styling on him as well. 2 rounds left for Leviathan to claim a map that they have looked superb on so far. And that Blaze is actually really annoying to try to push through for the defensive side. You can see they were going to flash in, but instead they have to wait up, and now they're ended up in the choke point being met by the push. Kiko's found the first. They'll wait out the molly, but the drone goes through, and now they know exactly where to look. The spam, that should have taken him out. It's left him with a bit of HP, not for too much longer, you would think. Scuba's gone down.
It looked like he had him dead to rights. It looked like they even pushed Sato in towards Scuba, set him up to get the kill, and then it doesn't even matter. And just when you thought the Odin was on the other side of the map, they've had enough time to rotate. Just look at the position of Neon as well. Where do you go back? My man has already got you locked in if you try and go all the way back through the spawn. They're going to have that early information system of him. And because of that, with 40 seconds left, like, they've dropped noise to go, okay, maybe we're gone. Maybe we're somewhere else. Now they've been spotted. Now they know the ruse is up. 3 players still within this site for Leviathan. And I genuinely start to question, when do you just hold on to the guns?
Sato's just thrown in a flash for the sake of it, because hell, he's got another to work with, might not need it. Blind comes in on the other side, it's good, but there's players have plenty on this site. Anti-flash, ready to roll, and 12-6 we go. This is a masterclass from Leviathan. From the very get-go, their slow pace on the attack side made it uncomfortable for NRG. And here in the second, they've looked like they're in complete control.
It's unfortunate, because again, I think the initial game plan, that opening pick, forcing Sato into an awkward fight, and then they end up just with 1 kill in the entirety of the round. It's safe to say that nothing is going the way of NRG, and Leviathan are proving why maybe even banning this map might be the best choice to avoid this sort of humiliation. They are looking to get themselves 1 map away from making it to playoffs. And, okay, it's a dance with death! Somehow Marder has managed to come out on top. Ethan alongside him. The best chance we've seen in a while. The spam should deny Spike seeing anything cheeky.
Oh, not Blows though. He's taking Mana down straight through the wall. Not a bad start. NRG needing 6 in a row, and it's already getting a little bit dicey. Big generators in the way there, luckily. The shock dart through on the other side will do damage. Scuba defends down below, and oh, he decides to shoot back. That is a brave, bold, and perhaps silly play. The time may be too far gone here unless the kills come in so quickly, and now they will just tuck in, hide, and wait for this clock to win the round for them. Ring a Rosie being put into play, and oh my goodness, you see why. Give Neon a chance, and he would have taken it. But the clock indeed has won the round for NRG. Not exactly the round that inspires confidence in the 6-round win streak, though. It's a very tight one in the end.
At this stage, I think a round is a round, but yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to put their economy back on the fringe. Definitely an awkward battle to begin with the flash, leaving King so blind he ends up TPing back into his own opponent. Blows, and Neon with a nice attempt. Yeah, you can tell that Ethan thought he'd killed him. 12-7. Mixed bag buy, and it seems like NRG are just going to keep trying to rinse and repeat. King has not been here. He's not been here before, but Scuba is waiting for it. Even still, Sato on the side defending well, but it's dropped. He gets the trade of his own kill, and Utility is doing all of the work for Leviathan. Another pulse that could do damage in it will kill off Kiko's ult, but he still stands. The wraparound coming in. Drones will be trading information, but to be honest, Glow's position is not the core issue. Neon has taken so much space.
And that Outlaw up against Kiko now has 2 shields left, 25 on Brock. Again, you're not just giving Neon, you saw how dangerous he was with the operator. Well, he can move faster and shoot faster as well, with each bullet as deadly as it is with the big gun.
They're expecting a push. Both defensive players are locked in on very passive angles because that plant hasn't come through. I really like this from Leviathan. They're just waiting for that plant to go in so that they know what side of the map this pressure has come in on. But I also like it for NRG. They were trying to bait them into a fight before they plant. Instead, we get the fight that's expected. Neon swinging his way through main. His teammate very far behind and he can't quite hit the shot. That was an opportunity maybe for a freebie. Instead now the Spam's trying to clear a spot that nobody has stood in any longer. Reveal available. Both players waiting, but that's the shot that could make it count. It's left all onto Brock. He's being spammed out from underneath. And again, he will bite the dust to a gun that he made popular. It's Leviathan that will go 1-0 up in this series and find themselves a map away from playoffs.
And they look so comfortable down on that stage as well. This was a masterclass on Ascent, but now we up the difficulty. NRG's map pick is up next. The bounce back has to start after the break.
Long life thing of bald men don't lie. I always thought that was something that we had to go by. Like, yeah, it's a very well-known saying. He went up onto that stage. He was like, I don't even want to give them 1 minute to think that we're changing everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and say we're still running the old comp. He even said we'll get revenge for XLG and then come in with a completely different comp. Love to see it. And giving them that little bit of extra aggressive style that we love to see from them. The problem is they are being surrounded, pincered, and already have a deficit.
Yeah, they gave up the C side and the side of NRG, but they fought for C main instead. Now, the pressure being put on once again as the door swings open. Brock not gonna land those shots to start with, and it looked like Leviathan wanted to deal with Kiko, but it's not gone too well to start. That's a nice shot from Neon. 1v3. If he got that pickup, the spike could be back under his control, but now you can see NRG just looking to group up. They're not even going to take the fight anymore. They'll allow him a plant.
I got the spike.
All they need is the retake.
Yeah, you can see the doubt it's also caused. At this point, they could have grouped up and gone absolutely anywhere. They could have surrounded the B site waiting for his rotation. They could be sat in the spawn. And for Neon, it's like, okay, I'd like to get this plant, but I have about 15 angles that I need to check before I do. Spike planted at least. Not a lot of utility to play with. That's the one dangerous piece. Well, unfortunately, that puts him down to 29 HP. Kiko a little low, but they know now, especially with how tagged up he is, he has to be trying to look for a fight, has to be trying to force the issue a little bit. I like the reposition, though, but even still, just the jump spot, the smoke, going to create an awkward angle for him. And although that time is ticking, it's not ticking anywhere near fast enough. Pistol round under the belt of NRG, and considering I don't think they won a single one in the last map, I think they'll be quite happy to get off to a good start here.
I don't think they won a single one in the last map either, Tom. Yeah, that 5-1 start was the ground shaking from Leviathan. Regardless of which half you talk about, but much more confidence from NRG, and this is something that they were denied when it came to Ascent in the entire first half, essentially, which was any sort of aggressive stance.
Let's run these guys' days, bro. Please.
Every time that they looked to take those fights, you just had Leviathan sat, waiting. And Ascent's not a map that allows you to play quite as aggressive as this one will. There's much more space for those attackers to cover. So LEV have to change how they're playing, and well, that's always gonna help NRG out with what we saw in the last.
Here goes the investment. The purchase down to give an outlaw to Neon, and it's now on the ground. And that is a pretty big problem, because it's not in the easiest spot to retrieve. Blows has managed to do so. We'll just try and recover any sort of semblance of control. The problem, though, of course, is going into their buy round, there's going to be some vulnerabilities, so dropping some weaponry is a must. And pushing into the C-site setup of Scuba doesn't feel like the best way for things to go.
Well, the C-side setup of Scuba or the C-side setup of Brock, whichever one you want to go for. There's utility aplenty. A wall in their way, an orb right behind it, but this outlaw gives you so many chances in a round like this. Made it through the wall now, all four. Making it to the backside, Ethan starts out very nicely. They won't force him into too uncomfortable of a position, at least I thought so, but Ethan's gone down. Sato found one with the outlaw as well, and now you see the real potential of a round like this, avoiding the snake bite to start. Not going to get spammed through that wall, but the plant is always difficult when your opponents have control of water. Those spams can be deadly, and there's not really a safe spot to plant. 12 seconds left.
Well, they're trying to bait them in, though, and the swing, not bad. They at least get themselves a plant. And very close to taking down Marder. But for NRG, that was the minimum. They get home with the 3 rifles that they bought into this round. They get to come in with Marder being 1 away from having that showstopper available. And it means that this next round, even though it's not going to be the greatest of purchases and may have a pistol or 2 in the mix, that ult, if they can get it online, could end up being very costly for Leviathan.
I do like the buy that Leviathan went for. I think coming in with an outlaw, a Marshall as well on this map, so many long-range angles to take a fight on. Good chance NRG give you the fights, not expecting that. And the weakness you get here is Sheriff on King, but he shouldn't be taking a lot of fights early, so it's just fine.
He's very good with the Sheriff as well. That might help them out. Sato up above already. Hiko's going to be able to get 1. This round feels like it's more about damage than anything else, and unfortunately, I think he's firing blanks. None of those remaining bullets landing. Scuba on the other side, though. Heal will come in to at least make the players on the other side a little bit healthier. But again, even just a couple of guns dropped, forcing those repurchases. Of course, for now, Leviathan haven't actually lost any guns because Sato has just fallen into the hands of King.
And I love this freeze. I mean, they've normally seen these players on C and B anyways, and you got 3 kills towards the A site. So many teams would just run it in, and you could see the danger there with Scuba having spent this whole round just waiting in tree. But they wait, hoping there's re-aggression, knowing the ice wall is containing their back, and eventually, when it's time to push, Scuba's caught out of position. Plant can come through now with, well, maybe not with ease. Oh, okay.
I'm glad there was a lot more time on the clock. Because if that was a little bit later in the round, it could have been a travesty.
It's one of the harder skill checks in Valorant, I have to say.
It's a very small button. Come on. It didn't matter at the end. It didn't even get planted in. It's going to come through after the round. Leviathan onto the board. A solid start for Neon. But I think it's something worth pointing out as well when talking about this Leviathan side. Like, a lot of the time with young, inexperienced teams, you do expect that. You expect people to just go, we've got 2-man advantage, run at them, just run them over, let's just destroy them. Whereas this team, even look back to the last map, they're very controlled when they have advantages. They're not like wasting those opportunities and not allowing for some of the clutches that we know NRG have the players to pull off. Showstopper available.
1 down.
Not anymore.
Of all the ways to hold A main on the attack, that's really not the one that I thought would work so flawlessly for Leviathan. Just send Neon out, takes a fight against a 4-man A main push, gets 1, and there's no follow-up. NRG falling a bit flat in that early round, and look, to anyone surprised, I guess you didn't watch the first map, it is a full freeze from Leviathan as they wait again for the aggression of NRG, catching it once more and finding a 5v3 advantage. The second that they get the upper hand, they force a mistake out of the other side. This is what they were doing on Ascent. And even now, in a 5v3, there's no semblance of taking a risk. They still want to see if NRG will give them a little bit more.
I think you take these teams, you remove all the names, remove the HUD, and you ask who is the champions winning side or the team maybe playing like it, and I think it's a tough question to answer. They're looking so controlled in the manner in which they play. Fact is though, a good read, right positioning for the remaining 3 players. They are walking into the stack of the spam, can't quite get too much, but now Bork is all that remains. He needs an ace, and it will only be the one. Leviathan deal with that with relative ease, and now go 2-2.
Because we're the best. Don't any of you...
Yeah, look, a timeout's being called for NRG, and I think you can see why. For Leviathan, starting this out, it's a ridiculous pickup. But the freeze was a factor in the previous map. And then they go in towards the B site, the Skydog, and this is what I love about the composition. After those advantages are found, they group up a minute later. Skydog goes through, clears everything. You know you're not running into the stack, but then the Vice Wall actually allowed the rotations to come back in, so it became a
Coolest was where he was truly terrifying.
And what is the adjustment from NRG? As you said, wanting to see them play a bit more confident, a bit more aggressive was part of what Bonkar was talking about. It certainly looks like this time they will be playing aggressive with that early peak coming out of Brock, but he's being shut down. Of course, this is a weak buy for NRG. It's where you're going to take risks. The C spot early was necessary so they could figure out whether to push up on B or not, but now, well, they know exactly where the hit's coming in, but dealing with it's a different story. Pistols on the retake, and yes, there's a showstopper online, but unless we find ourselves in an advantageous spot, I don't think we're going to see Mata throw that in.
This is the thing, thus far, I would say that Sato has stolen the show of the superstar of Leviathan, but in this map, it has been all Neon thus far. Lead looks like it's guaranteed, and for the defensive side, you kind of look at this and just, okay, I don't want to give the orbs over. Go down to the spike, maybe take some kills as you go. The blows, one of the few players that's actually close to his ultimate. Seems like he's the one maybe most likely to try and hunt this one down, pop flash out, but it has been avoided by Ethan. Of course, though, the weaponry is just not favored for him. Or instead, they get pushed in and seeming like they're going to be cleaned up. A flawless round for Leviathan. No casualties felt. Orbs picked up as well. Now 4 of their 5 ults are online.
This is really where in my head start to look at Leviathan as maybe being the favorites. They're playing a tight game. And we see it so often. We've seen it at this event. We certainly see it regionally where teams have these big leads and they start to loosen up how they're playing. Leviathan are coming in, a map to the good with a solid start in this one as well. 3 in a row now. And yet on Ascent, even when they had a huge lead, even when they were 5-1 up, it was NRG having to come up with solutions. Leviathan were not making it any easier for them.
Operator picked up Amano. Potential for a difference maker, and immediately that's the showstopper down. A nice shot connected. He goes for one of his own, and he's been dealt with by Neon. Even still, though, the trades have come out. Now we'll listen to NRG.
Spike down
Tem uns
A.
tickets de uma igreja aqui.
Irei aberto. É a Viper. Valeu.
O cara me matou no ar, o spot me
guys.
pegou, acho que tem que fazer 0-0 Spice.
Well, NRG finding success on the back of that operator. You mentioned it, Pramada, although he ended up in a bit of an awkward anime battle right afterwards. The rest of the team filling in all the gaps.
A better round for them for sure. I think an attempt from Leviathan to almost just break them, an instant pop that didn't work out. With that operator, Odin, all the pieces of the puzzle, and most of the ultimates not being expended either for that defensive side. They put themselves in a pretty good position. Flash will leave Mada forced off the angle, but you see the immediate rotation coming out from Scuba to just support that A site. The door being broken as well, just giving them that avenue. The spams ready to go. Already clearing out blows. It's a little bit tougher to do these spams nowadays, but I'm sure you're a big fan.
Absolutely. You love to see it done well. And Mata then finding another on the operator, just doubles down on the advantages. Another for Mata, finishing off Ethan's dinner, leaving Leviathan with nothing but breadcrumbs, and it's not going to look
player standing.
clean in any fight they take. Chance for it to be flawless, connected by Brock in the end. Another round for NRG, and well, that pause seems to have worked wonders.
Yeah, I think even just having the proper 4-buy though, having that operator in hand, unfortunately having the Odin, also making a big difference and just getting a lot of those opening duels in a lot less of a risky fashion, not having to take the deep control that we were seeing from them before.
There we go, boys. There.
That's an evil villain laugh if ever I've heard one. Oh my.
Time to
He knows he's the
mobilize
bad
my
guy.
pack.
Well, 4-3 for NRG. The lead has been reclaimed, but a full buy comes up on the other side still. Rifles hastening the pace towards this C site.
It's clearly the expectation as well. They've moved the vice set up there, already looking to try and take the weaponry away with the Steel Garden. Spams for those close positions, and Brock just looking to try and retake that control. The problem is there's a player up top, but that player has no support. Neon did not expect anybody to be peeking that angle, but now the weapon's back. They'll find one in response.
Didn't expect him to be on the left there. The spams back from Leviathan. Very effective. They should know by now that the rotates have come in towards C, that it's going to be a bit better defended. There's the Nightfall coming through to confirm for NRG. There's still players here. They don't catch a lot off the back of it. In fact, I think only one player is going to be flagged by that. And now on the defense, you think they might go back. If Mata didn't have all that space on A, they should stay with this two-man setup, and Leviathan don't know that they'll still run into numbers. But a 4v2, they can get through that smoke. They should be favored, and they've already gotten in. The Sky Flash works wonders. Boots on the ground. Scuba putting bodies on the ground till King answers up.
Player standing.
But Ethan's not gone anywhere.
Take hold.
Baiting them in here is going to be important.
Spike plant.
Eventually, though, we'll stick that plant. Ultimate available, but finding a time to use it is difficult. As said, it's one of those slow burners. In terms of when it's activated, instead, he's going to go pushing, looking for Ethan, hoping that there's an isolated fight, but he still has no idea where Mata is. In fact, he's got his back turned to the enemy, expecting it to be main, expecting that push to come in the other direction, and it's because of the initial aggression that we've seen from Mata so much. But he was wrong in this case. It will be the lead being extended now for NRG.
Yeah, it's not a bad read considering Mata have been pushed up in A main almost every round so far, but rotation ends up playing a big role, as does Scuba finding two before they went down.
Left.
Ah! Bend the default.
He still gave the info, you know.
It's all about a little delay in it, but that's fine. A 2-round gap now for the defensive side, and you know, dealing with that, no doubt you'd hope you'd have an easier round coming, but once again, those rifles come out from Leviathan. And once again, we see 5 players at the barrier. This will be a much more direct play towards the A site, but this time NRG are not only 3A, but 2 of them are sitting in tree. They're defending the Odin tooth and nail, and that's going to make this a real headache to not only take, but even to hold on to any space on this side of the map.
Oh, you got to look after the MVP. Baiting out some of that utility. At least attempting to, but it hasn't really helped too much. Look how many players are here now, a 4th. Gonna try and make it a little bit easier. Neon had early lights out, but it's Kika that goes through. Tries to make the play, ends up losing his life. And now with the weaponry dissipated, it almost has to be the fallback. That Odin won't be firing any bullets, at least for a second or two, and that allows for a post-plant.
Spot for Neon, but it's
looks
risky.
away.
In a 5 versus 4, now the advantage out of the hands of the attackers. Time ticking, but not quite quick enough. King's gonna have to come up big on this corner. He's got himself one already, but traded out instantly. Now they start to pick up the pace, and the off finds one on the corner. Blast packing in deeper. The space filled in behind, but the kills finding their way into the hands of Leviathan. It's the Odin jump, but he jumps into a crossfire. And Leviathan won't let him away with that one.
You see the impact of the ult. I think Kiko definitely goes a little bit early. The rest of the team seem almost set up. And yeah, look, it's just a massive gamble. But that Steel Garden did most of the work. They'll remove the ability to just spam through all of those walls. An ult that they won't have now for a little while, but it does get them back on the horse. 3 rounds in a row one way, 3 rounds in a row the other way. Looking like more of a level playing field than what we saw on the last map. Even still though, Showstopper back online. Viper's Pit available for Scuba. Neon again, he's trying to get cheeky around the edge of this smoke.
The net spread pretty wide by LEV, and the problem is King. If he goes for this B main control, he's going to be walking right into the op, but I think they'll go back here and swing that door, and then that leaves Mata in a really bad spot. Looking for some control over A as well. This is where, as well, from LEV's perspective, you start to add up that where is that op? He's been here almost every time. Mata's been fighting for that control, and he's given it up this time. King's put the pieces together and put the bullets straight into Mata's head.
That now leaves a pretty big gap. You had a lot of those rotations spotted.
Cover going
Instead,
out.
now they have to re-gamble players back over towards this A side of the map, but if there was any gun to try and catch them, this might be the one. Maybe a bit wary that they could try and split back into B instead. They'll face into that A site utility. The time's starting to tick down though for Leviathan. 30 seconds. The Seekers might just give the game away a little bit, but they know that at least one is here.
Now they don't know about the Odin, they're backing him up. In fact, they won't! Ethan stops them at the gates!
Enemy remaining.
Spike seen all that remains, and he didn't stand a chance! What a round by Ethan! His job there was just to slow them down, to take that first fight, bait them in for his teammate. But he took every single kill in his stride. Look at him go! Also an excellent paranoia from Kiko that gave them no chance to fight back.
Yeah, it's like the first couple of flashes that came out from LEV was sublime. He gets caught by the paranoia, dodges that second flash, and then with a paranoia of his own coming in from Kiko, that was just a straight cleanup. Of course, they were close enough that they could probably see him. It made no difference in the end. A faster paced take being attempted, some weaker weaponry in hand, and already diving in onto Scuba, who's still stuck in the corner. They should know he's here, maybe on a sound cube, but it doesn't matter. He's held the line anyway, and now the support arrives in the form of the Odin. Leaves Spike sitting alone. They're disappearing out, but well, there's enough bullets that it wasn't a problem for Brock.
Yeah, backup called in again. This time Ethan didn't take all the kills, so Brock got a bite of the pie. 7-4 now for NRG after 2 really strong starts from LEV in the previous map. As we said, 5-1 up. 10-2 if you take both early halves. There it is again, the cackle out of Ethan. As at this stage, it's been 5-1 in the last couple. A complete role reversal for NRG now as they're finding a lot of success. With 1 round left to play for, LEV, they've walked into that gate, but they've walked out with the kill.
Yeah, the Blade Storm from Neon once again. He has been the main factor of this attack in half, but an immediate response. An aggressive one at that. There are 4 players looking to barrel down from the defensive side. An entire brawl of every player remaining. And well, there is nobody coming out alive on the Leviathan side. They had a decent start to this one, but then NRG came to play.
Oh yeah, NRG have certainly woken up after a bit of a sleepy start on Ascent. Now their map pick looks a whole lot cleaner. An 8-4 first half behind us. But another half will be coming up after the break.
1 enemy remaining. Spike down A.
A similar kind of vibe on the next map as well. So for Leviathan, it's not as easy as writing this off as NRG's pick. They still want to at least make it close and competitive. An 8-4 scoreline starting us off. A strong showing from NRG, but a pistol loss could have seen us even at the half. And now Leviathan's chance to right the wrongs of history. That flash is behind the Viper wall, so it actually caught nobody. Leviathan end up running to their deaths. And a heal, sure, onto Spike Scene, but man advantage well and truly locked in for NRG.
Another great paranoia coming out from Kiko. It is safe to say those assists are well-deserved. They're trying to get that little bit more aggressive himself. And a second already guaranteed. In fact, the third will come his way as well. I think that's 3 kills, 2 assists. Almost a perfect round for Kiko. And now 9-4 in the lead. I have to say, I'm not too hopeful for a comeback in this one.
Yeah, losing both pistols already, not a great sign, but you think back to the previous map, you even think back to how we started here when Leviathan were fighting and bringing us to that 3-2 scoreline. This was a squad that had patience on the attack side. It looked like they had NRG's number. They shut down every piece of aggression, at times just by standing in the open and taking a fight. And now things have changed completely. From a team that couldn't make a mistake to one that can connect around.
The kill distribution, not normally the most exciting thing to talk about, but I think that's every single player in NRG with 10 kills. So there you go. It really has been a team performance. We saw it in the last half, the pickup of the Odin and the Operator making a huge difference, but in this one, I'm not even sure that will be necessary. Now, Leviathan, they've got a good read here. 4 players on this side of the map. See, it's only the 2 rifles, and already Brock has gone down. In fact, I think that's the realization for NRG that, okay, maybe there's a little bit more of a stack up than expected. Let's try and reset and maybe bait that rotation elsewhere.
Yeah, they want them to leave this C site, but Leviathan, full eco at this point. There's a good chance that they decide to stick around anyways. Just play the retake, go down to the spike. If this squad goes elsewhere, better to catch them here. If they come, then gamble and potentially be late on another side of the map. Obviously, the problem being flanks, but it's not really a problem for Leviathan at the moment. They've got King covering off their back. They've got Neon covering B. But that tells you that the numbers on site thinned out a little bit more. Shadow spotted already. Up close to Spike Scene inside the smoke, 12 seconds. I mean, he could make this awkward if he drops the spike. And in fact, even that kill is going to do exactly that. The rifle picked back up 7 seconds. Denying the plant here is all that it takes. But it lands on the floor anyways. And Leviathans start falling like flies. Kiko's triple seals the deal. Double digits for NRG.
Yeah, a couple of really big individual rounds from him. Back-to-back 3Ks moving him to the top of the board in the server, which is kind of surprising, considering how many big rounds we've seen across the board for the rest of the team, but these ones just as important. Of course, the other problem as well is you'd normally be talking about the damage, but they kept the 2 rifles, and with the lead that they have, it seems like NRG are more than happy to gamble this one a little bit. A win here, the map is over. Don't feel like Leviathan have it in them to turn the tide. And the thing that's a worry for me is the fact that Sato has been so quiet. He has been phenomenal all the way through the tournament so far. And they'll really need him on the next map as well.
Well, I mean, I think it very much underlines it that Sato's on 3 kills. Kiko's got 3 kills in both of the last 2 rounds. It has been a very different performance, but you think back to Ascent and the shoe is on the other foot. Sato is lights out and Kiko is struggling. Maybe we'll get them both on Pearl. Maybe we'll see that map sooner than we would have thought. After a blowout first, it's set up to be an even more dominant map for NRG this time.
Blinding.
It's not done just yet. This is the full buy from Leviathan. It starts with King spotting them. They're in the tree, they're making space, they're fighting for that back sight. Kind of slowed a little bit by the thorns, but he's not looking to take that fight just... Oh, they've got Kiko. A big pickup by Blows. There's no pressure anymore in Leviathan. It had to be NRG to make a move, and they go walking into players, just holding their angles. Easy as can be. That's a great way back in for Leviathan.
Yeah. Normally, you'd think of this sort of flawless round as one where, okay, they're up against weaker weapons, their opponents didn't really invest too much into it. No, they rebought, they went in with the Odin, we saw them on rifles on every single player.
It's because they played three players without rifles in the previous round, right? And survived with both.
Yeah, so it's still going to leave them with a couple of pieces missing, like maybe light shields rather than the heavy shields. And even a Stinger going to be coming up for Ethan.
Planted. One enemy.
And it means that that round was probably a stronger round than what we'll see for the one coming up for NRG.
To be honest, that's such an important factor, especially for a young team. If they win that one round, it's been quite a while since they won 2 in a row, but still on their feet. The energy's still there. Leviathan haven't given up, but neither have NRG. Coming right back in with a buy-up. Ethan, the only player with a weakness, and some big ultimates close to being online. Looking at Mada in particular, or even Ethan. Those are ults that can get you into sight. Look at Leviathan though. 4 players ready to scrap on this A main control, and NRG know now they have to leave, but they're leaving Scuba for dead. Question is, can he drop a few bodies in the meantime? Now he's a thorn in their side that they have to deal with.
It's funny because they were just about to start rotating away, and now they have to hesitate a little bit. King really needs to do a serious amount of damage on this backside, otherwise the site is gone completely. And he doesn't really have any teammates nearby. Finally, Sato has been able to deal with Scuba in the backline, and that's a huge kill for SpikeZine. Before they were going into a level playing field with a post plant, now they have an advantage.
A post plant where NRG would have had that showstopper. The plant would have gotten it from Mada, and instead the death did. But a nice return by Ethan, and they look to fight! Brock's got them both! 11 rounds for NRG! And at this point, Leviathan, yeah, look, they're trailing. They've only found a flash in the pan round here or there. Honestly, it feels like a map that they never got started on. It's not inspiring confidence for what comes next on Pearl. As we said, the veto as we go deeper, it takes a turn for the worse for Leviathan, and you're seeing that here and now.
The one saving grace is that they did have a flawless round in the last, so they do have rifles across the board. Sato immediately claiming that orb, but they're going in with a showstopper and 2 ultimates, 1 away. In fact, one of them almost definitely about to come online. Especially going in with a
Face your fear!
Nightfall. It's going to make things so difficult to defend that C site. In fact, I don't even think they're going to bother trying. Just sat back in the corner. King trying to dance with death, and well, he's meted it with open arms.
Scuba late push through B as well. Now that King's utility's down, they don't know about it, but it's space that they've given up. Leviathan are all in the spawn. It's not the usual retake that you'll see. It starts with a Paranoia and a Sky Flash, but 2 players not caught by it. And they decimate everyone that steps near the site. SpikeZine all that's left. 17 HP, that nade might have got him, but Mada beat himself to the punch. 12-5 now. And it seems like Pearl is not on the horizon. It's practically already here.
I think this timeout is honestly surprising. I get it from the side of Oda that, hey, you don't call that pause. Maybe it looks a little bit silly, but instead this will be a how do we win 7 rounds in a row pause. There's not many people that managed to pull that one off. One of them will be
1 start now for NRG to their attack side. 1 out of 7 to close this out. Bring us all the way to Pearl. It's going to start with very direct A play. They're wasting no time. In fact, Neon has almost opened the door for them. They are right on the, in fact, they're right through. They're right through. He literally opened the door for them, and NRG more than happy to step through to a mostly open A site. Scuba, he had this flank last round that mounted to nothing because of the position of the defenders. This time the Vice wall is still up, but he's gonna strike before even getting near it. He's looking for more. Surely not going back in for a 3rd bite of the cherry. And instead he'll meet up with the team. No wrap, well, actually, he'll stay behind. He'll embed outside B as the C play comes in. It's wide open, it's an easy plant, and the question is, how much can Scuba get done in that late round?
Yeah, well, it's also a question of, can they get anything done at all? He is just that constant backstab that leaves 2 players with more than a mountain to climb. I don't think whatever was said in that pause thought that it would result like this. A 2v5 to keep them in the map. The story going exactly as expected thus far. And unless the remaining two have a miracle and you almost expect a blunder, it's never going to happen. A flawless round to close for NRG. 13-5, 3 maps in the series. One of them will be making it to the playoffs.
We're going all the way to Pearl to settle the score between these two regional rivals. It's been a blowout in the first two, but the middle ground could be where it heats up. We'll find out after the break. On the desk here, Tom, about how it should be difficult for Neon to find value. It's what Minnie was saying up against this composition. I agree with him entirely, and that's even more worrying when you think about the fact that Leviathan last time on the defense struggled massively and Neon was showing up. He was having an easier time than he should here. For NRG, the attack side is where things start out after a dominant win in the previous map. They are wasting no time with taking space towards this A site. A few licks of damage done. They're not stopping there. Scuba, is he going to walk through that? No, he's backed off.
Yeah, waiting for the contact. Still, Sato with a flash. Stun available for Spikezine. The pace has left them at least with some utility to play with, but so many angles that they need to clear. In fact, Neon is taking his time around middle. He's going to be very far away from the action, but Spikezine already clearing one. Do they expect the second player of Scuba? He's just going to sit pretty as they now wait for those rotations, but time has been ticking for quite a while. They need to get a move on, and now he springs the trap, already clearing every angle methodically, but there go the trades. Even still, that time at this point feels like it's too far gone already, and though they may get a kill or two, there is no way they get the defusal. Another pistol under the belt of NRG.
A great start for Sato, though, and that's what you want to see for Leviathan. He had a really quiet previous map, and going from one to the other, being a young player, talking about the pressure of the stage as well. Here at Masters in London, it's good to see at least a spark right off rip, even if the round won't fall into his hands.
Yo, go for the round, bro!
Yeah, well, you can see the kills don't amount to much, except for maybe an early run it back online on the defensive side. Won't be for this round, even if it came online. The attackers are running into a lot of numbers. And it's Neon to start. They might try to force him off, not knowing how many players are here. And now the realization kicks in. A big fight needed to claim back that spike. Oh, but King's gone up pushing. He was in the danger zone for a second there, but now instead it's the other side. Walking back into Neon again. Headhunter might have run dry though. The Red Bull clutch.
Go back to the last game of this map when he played versus XLG. 26-14, and we talked about him saving NRG that day. He's just saved them for a round I thought was done. It took him a second to even pick back up the gun, but it is just a firing range coming out from Kiko. And well, an incredibly damaging round. But it's the dub that matters most for them. It leaves them with a pretty weak purchase coming into the bonus round, but with Kiko having a gun, still a chance.
Obviously, we've seen Leviathan play this map against Global Esports. It was a bit of a blowout. Defensive side, what, 3 rounds they got in the last 4 or 5? A very, very slow start. That was a chance to really get off to a flying start. Good defense here with aggression. Up on B long, they thought they could just wrap around and deal with him. But King was standing in their way. The bonus for NRG sees only one man fall, and look, he's got a big old weapon for free in the next round, so I don't think Neon's going to be too upset.
He's off to a flyer. They could have easily leveled things up, but the fact that they've made it very costly and then look to win their buy round just as cleanly, they do have to be a little bit careful. And bear in mind that Scuba does still have the spike. Opportunities do seem relatively thin though, but a post plant might at least allow him to get a kill or two. And I think that's the most important thing in this round. As I said, when you lose 4 players in the prior round, it's not like you're going to be investing too much into that bonus. The next is where their buy comes back up, and if he can get 2 kills here, that would be great. The question, though, is does he just hold on to the rifle now? And I think that is the answer. With 10 seconds, I think if there's an extra 5 or so, maybe he tries to get a plant, but instead holds onto the gun, keeps their own economy strong, and Leviathan will keep 4 guns after their first comes onto the board.
NRG still able to get a full buy in the next, but the danger of Neon, the thing we talked about starting out in this series that the desk was talking about, how difficult it should be for him. Well, he's had 2 big rounds defending right up deep on B-Long. And when you're pushing into that angle, you know, obviously he's got a TP to get out of there, but so often he hasn't even used it. He stays and fights and finds value with almost every shot fired. For Leviathan, that's a good sign, because it means NRG have to come up with a solution to this B-Long play. And Leviathan, on the other hand, don't want that to be the case. So they're changing it up. This time, the tour de force goes towards A, no doubt trying to catch them as they avoid that ultimate. But in fact, NRG are set on solving the problem of B-Long.
Yeah, they've taken that space, but also when you hear that tour de force go off, he could just be way more passive. Like, doesn't need to be anywhere near as aggressive, so there's still going to be doubt in the minds of NRG. King just spotting all those close angles slowly being cleared. Of course, for both sides, this is the first proper full buy we've seen thus far in this game, and I'm mainly looking at the position of Sato. Having that run it back available, having the molly, could be a big problem for them. But instead, steps being made to the other side of the map. Now, the spike has not moved. It still seems like this is a full commitment, but maybe just trying to clear back some of those more aggressive angles.
They're trying to clear back Neon. They know if he's not B and he hasn't even looked for a peek with that tour de force, he can't be on this side of the map. And now they've spotted him as well. The idea here to cause those rotations, and at least there is a second player towards A, but still plenty to react to this B play. Sato stood by with a molly in hand, 20 seconds left. Spikescene can be here so quickly, and still utility for King. This could be a very difficult round, in fact. 15 seconds and Sato invades the smoke. A nice try with the ultimate. He's bought time at least, slowed them down to 10 seconds. The spike has to be planted soon. NRG, they've made it to the site, but this is their final chance to put the spike on the ground. It is a beautiful round from Spikescene, from Leviathan in general. The patience that we saw on their attack side. Evident here on the defense.
Yeah, I think even the fact that Sato, he loses his gun just before he's about to go in, with the delay with the shorty, and then just Spikescene just sitting in that corner. At any moment, he could have gone, okay, now I need to risk it. Now I need to fight with my teammate. Instead, he goes, no. With the clock that low, I can deny the round almost alone, just with the surprise factor. It's a damaging round for the economy.
I'm out of here.
Leaves not a lot to play with. Marder will manage to bypass that utility spam, but instead they're running into what could be the combo. Just a second too early.
You have to be so careful if you're NRG. Obviously, this is a low buy round, but when it comes to the rifle rounds, that trap in particular, the Phoenix Flash held for a teammate further back. And if the teammate is Neon, the fact that the stun is going to be behind the flash as well, it's almost a guaranteed opening if you find yourself out of position. So for NRG, they have to be much more thoughtful about how they take those opening fights. It does look like they've got a decent chance to get the spike down on A. For now, Leviathan are starting to shift towards this side of the map. And the drone will pull it. I thought would pull in those players from Arc, but they've re-cleared mid, end up catching Mata. Perfect work. But with the pistols, I didn't expect to see Blows walk into that smoke.
No. The only worry, though, is that convergence path went down with Marder. I feel like that could have been super dangerous if it got into the late round. One will be there. Ethan, I think that's the one rifle that they managed to pick up. He's gone alone. And the surprise factor didn't bring in anywhere near enough dividends. It leaves the remainder with just pistols to play with. Okay, they baited out the overdrive, and Uber's, we've still seen Scuba manage to find himself a shot. But in the end, they are dropping like flies. He needs an ace with the Sheriff. An isolated fight onto King might give him an opportunity, but does he clear the close box? No, in fact, he's pulled utility out, but they both did at the same time. A little bit of confusion with the doppelgangers fighting off against each other. And in the end, it won't be too dangerous around.
Perhaps they could sense each other in the astral plane for Leviathan. This is exactly the kind of start that they're hoping for after the last map being a blowout. Looking at how their previous run on Pearl went, I didn't expect to see them put up defensive rounds for quite a while, Tom, but they've already matched their record here. 3 on the defense very early on.
It was a 0-7 start last time around as well, so
Right here.
I think that's enough to body the mentality. It was something that owner that said. It was like, okay, it was youngsters entering the stage for the first time, not able to show what they've got, and sure, we saw in the last map that 3 rounds, even in a streak, doesn't necessarily mean too much, but it's the individual plays that we're seeing. We're getting spikes in, we're getting Neon. Well, an opportunity for him in the early round. It's not going to get them too much.
It's a close defense from Leviathan. And the ult's going to be dodged to start, but right in to all of the utility that NRG put into play. Neon ends up getting ripped out of the round by a rifle, but Spike Scene fights his way back in ahead of the play. And Shadow Spam is sublime. Now the advantage suddenly with Leviathan for the moment, a 4 versus 2. With the ult of Phoenix being a second man, and King dropping Scubas pretty much cemented this lead for LEV. They've got the spike on backside, and a player unaccounted for now at least, so maybe a small chance for Brock. He is certainly filling in that space. He's made it through main, they don't know, but there it is. And now the rest of the squad comes. If he's not quick in closing this kill, he'll have no chance.
There was an opportunity for a second, but now the rest of the team are here. The flash has left him completely blind, and he's caught walking straight into a wall. King to close, but once again, Sato ending up as the hero. And it definitely seems like he's back. Oh, we look back at that previous map, and he was really in struggle city. And now 9-2 at the top of the board, and clearly an opportunity now for NRG where they're like, okay, we need to stem the bleeding a little bit. That momentum from this young, fiery squad is starting to take over a map that, as we said, coming in, looking at their performance versus XOG and the G performance versus LEV, it felt heavily fake. That nice round in the corner. It hasn't been a one-man show. Sure, the man at the top is definitely like a little bit above the rest, but... And on the other side of things, well, it took Kiko dragging them, kicking and screaming through the last performance. Again, we're going to have that early util dump, trying to deny that A main control, and it has done so.
It'll be the same trap that we've seen from LEV before. Use the molly on A, set up on Arc. With the Phoenix flash, ready on contact from Neon.
Knocking them.
NRG stopped at the double doors, and LEV filling the space behind them. They're closing in the walls on this attacking side. And there's no read on the other side. There's no way for NRG to know what is coming around that corner for now. Only one man is watching it. It's Kiko, eyes on the door, and he'll find his shot. A crucial kill onto Sato. Great stun by Spike Scene! And to get 2 there is surreal. We're back to level playing field, and Blows has made it a little bit better for Leviathan.
Oh yeah, that single kill and duck away is just irritating. You want to try and find an immediate trade, but he's gone with the wind. Looking to just play that post, and unfortunately for NRG, you can't just do what you normally do, like try and sit back towards 8 main, because that Cosmic Divide is a problem. But the bigger problem is that that wraparound from Neon is slowly coming through. One already spotted. Counter ultimate played in the Armageddon just to try and make sure they can't pincer off of this, and I like it. Ethan getting aggressive. He knows that maybe his back has been lost. He knows that there could be someone coming from behind, but even still, caught on the angle. Leaves Kiko to try and save them once again. But even still, that Cosmic Divide is going to lock him out. He's got to try and play around it. Nice shot on the first second as well. And he knows where the last is. Wants to try and take away the weaponry. No time to reload. A chance to pull off the clutch. And he goes in for the fight, and it's not quite there. But he'll get it on the time anyway. Another round that goes solely for Kiko. And a Red Bull clutch with it.
That is not a round that looked likely. He was surrounded, so many numbers against him. Runs into an op, and sure, he'll be denied the ace in the end.
Not ready yet.
But he still wins. up against the entirety of Leviathan, denies that lead, extending even further, and keeps NRG within reach.
I'll be honest, from what we've seen so far at Masters, I'm starting to question maybe NRG aren't good at this map and just Kiko is. Like the fact he had to go 26 on 14 last time out for them to win. And now that they have 3 rounds and 2 of them are just him clutching versus multiple players. There needs to be someone else alongside him, and Mada getting that opener onto Neon might just be the step up they need.
They've got to be quick. If NRG are going to go back towards the B site, it'll have to be pacey. Leviathan are already realizing that the hit is not coming in through A main. And it looks like they're setting up to play late in the mid. 1 in art, 2 coming towards the double doors. Leviathan want the fight, but maybe they should have left it. Sado falls. Spike seen now to try to fill in that space, and 4 players are holding him when he walks out the double doors. NRG, the pack mentality working out, is now the B site wide open for now, for the moment. But by the time they get there, it looks like it'll be a very different story. A good read by Leviathan, or a good guess. Either way, they're in the right place at the right time.
Even still, though, it's going to be so difficult to
30 seconds left.
get this. There's no lurk. There's nobody sitting behind. The smoke is going to make things a little bit more awkward, but already King is going to be spotted. He knows he has to leave the corner, and the spam out. That is at least going to be 1. A second as well. King making things awkward, and it takes Scuba saving them. Oh, that was a little bit shaky. But it will be 4-4.
But that's the danger. When you have the drone to re-clear, you can spot the first player, and they do that in finding King. But expecting them both to be there, when moments ago there was a clear play to fight for mid, you saw from both duelists, it's that spanner in the works. Blows swinging in from elbow that really makes this a close round, and for a second it looked like he could even align them up to close it out. But Leviathan denied extending their lead 2 rounds ago, and now the lead is no longer theirs. It's up for grabs in round number 9. Neon in this position has been deadly, and he will be again for Mada. It's his full HP bar for Brock. It might as well be. He's left on 10 HP, and for a player who loves to spam, that is going to take away your ability to play the game. At least the way you want to.
Ready. Spot for blows. He's definitely the player on this side that seems to be the safer pair of hands at times, just getting the information. Drone is going to give the game away. He's at least spotted a couple, but he is being pushed. In fact, even the Spike was pushing it there for a moment, wanting that safe space, but there is no safe space to be had. The full defensive force
Spike planted.
is about to start rounding, and bear in mind, I think Blow's falling back was partially because of the ultimate he has online.
This Hunter's Fury could definitely help them clear out this A site. Reveal fired in deep. We'll start with Sado finding 1. Now the site only has Ethan up close. Cosmic Divide robbed him of vision just as he needed it, and Brock's got his knife out, shot in the side by a very patient King, and the body blocks. Oh, they've completely stolen the round with that, but I don't think Scuba was really on for the 1v5 anyways. Leviathan, 5 on the board, and the lead won't be taken by NRG just yet.
It really does just feel like a back and forth. The last round, although it came to 2 players, it felt controlled for the early part with that aggression. This time, it's a lot more patient from the side of Leviathan, just playing that retake, setting up nicely, even making sure that if there was going to be a wraparound and a backstab, they were completely ready and watching it. With the pistol and second round going the way of NRG, the fact that Leviathan already have themselves in the lead, it is looking like a completely different performance.
Oh,
Them versus GE. Now that is a lot of space garnered. In fact, both players have made it through. That might even sell the ruse that there's only 1 hit, because you've got, okay, Kiko was the one that sneaks his way past, Scuba now activates it. I don't think they'll have any idea that Mada is currently in the spawn.
they just need to wait. No peeks on B long, no pushes out to sight. Mada's got a freebie, and if he's patient, he could get so much more, but he wasn't. Neon ends up with 2 and gets out. That second kill could have been the round. It would have been rifles across the board for NRG. And instead, advantage for LEV as the plant comes in, and a retake they're more than happy to attempt together.
They've got so much in terms of ultimates to play with as well if they wanted to use them, if they felt like they were necessary. Instead, the run through from SpikeZine, he's almost trying to bait them. There goes that Hunter's Fury, but Sato has already found one. In fact, he's going to throw out the run it back. They really don't want this one to get out of control, and you can understand why. At a minimum, they'll go in even at the half on the defensive side, that side that they struggled with so desperately last time out. Solid stuff from Leviathan. And even still, they're going to come in with a few ults next round.
A very different game to what I was expecting to see if we went the distance. With NRG, as you said, yep, Kiko was a big reason they were able to put up rounds the last time, and a big reason here as well. But even still, it was that LEV were struggling so much when it came to that defensive side. And it is difficult to accept sometimes at face value the idea that, oh, it was just nerves, right? It's an easy excuse, and it's always the real reason. But LEV are starting to inspire confidence that that is exactly what we saw down on that stage. The young guns needing a bit of time. Ooh. Now they look like they belong.
This is a counter to that double man setup that we've seen over in towards Art, but luckily we've had the drone go through from the NRG side that will let them know that that setup is no longer there. Mada are about to take that space, but again, it seems like a setup in towards the retake. Immediately using that ultimate in towards the back of the spawn. A little bit of damage from the salvos, but all it's really garnered is some space.
That was a good kill setup, but now LEV are floating back in. Mada's completely isolated, caught behind enemy lines, dealt with as SpikeZine is going ham on the site. NRG in a 2 versus 4. Spike still needs to be defused, but SpikeZine is taking it all on his back. The defuse tap now will draw Scuba out. He didn't win his 1v5, and the 1v4 will be no different. Big round from SpikeZine. And a big half from Leviathan, a team that struggled to put any rounds on the board on the defense, is guaranteed the lead at halftime.
No, they've been fantastic in these retakes. I've loved the adaptation we've seen from them, because when they were going for those all-in firefights, I think especially Blows was really struggling to hold that line as they had the execute from NRG. They are now allowing NRG the post-spawn. They're even allowing them aggressive positions. They're sitting all the way back and going, let's just play this one together. Let's send in the utility. Let's isolate the fights with smokes. This is a well-drilled team showing that, hey, we had the preparation to now adapt into these plays. And okay, maybe last time that didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen again. 3 rounds in a row, 3 successful diffuses. And what we met.
I love the composition they're bringing. You saw it even in the last round. Convergence path put in deep towards the spawn on that right side of A, and then a salvo behind it. We have a lot of trap plays on this attack side, a lot of really nice setups. But Leviathan have been doing a great job of sidestepping. We know they can take the gloves off and hit hard, but the question was, could they take their hits? And so far, they're avoiding any punches landing in the other direction, unless they're from Kiko. 7-4 and a chance to have double the rounds of their opponent moving into the next half. Hunter's Fury not landing for more than the tag. So at least a 5v5 in the post plant, but this lurk here, it's feast or famine for Scuba. And it looks like he's gonna have a feast on his hands.
Yeah, they've been very, very diligent at checking for these flanks.
You are divided.
But this time, Neon should be dead to rights. That's one already gone. Weaponry reduced to tatters or so. It should have been. No, King manages to dodge the ult, and now he's won a fight back. Mada isolated out. In fact, they're trapped behind the wall. They don't know how much can come through, but that Armageddon should buy them additional time. The defuse isn't going to be halved. It doesn't even matter. Everybody dead on the other side. And now Blows just waits for them to swing! 3 quickly! The problem is he didn't get it to half. The half wasn't there earlier. So it will be a 5th round for NRG. They needed everything to get it done, but they will do.
It has been a struggle on the half that we thought would be easier for NRG. Leviathan showed us a very weak face to their defense on Pro when they played it against GE, but now they look determined to win the regional matchup. We'll find out if they've got what it takes after the break.
1 enemy remaining.
Concentrate.
NRG, in fact, the defensive side of this map has always been fairly stellar. So it's definitely not a done deal just yet, of course, for Leviathan. Making it to playoffs over NRG on the international stage has been that America's team to beat over the last couple. It would be a pretty big step forward into the top 8, and for NRG, definitely a surprise.
Well, we've seen the slow attack sides from Leviathan, and again, with that Phoenix in play, they'll go towards A, take the orb, and send the majority backwards. Will be a split. And when you look towards this position for NRG, normally, this is where you'll see Ethan play the contact, fire the salvo through, and play that passive rotation. In fact, it will be the stun to start this off. No salvo just yet to cut them off. Leviathan making their way in towards the site. There it is finally, but this is covering off the plan for now. NRG can't really fight this. They're all back towards the spawn, maybe hoping that Leviathan fight for space, that they step a little bit too far forward. Good spams, great damage across the board. Leviathan with 3 players desperately low here in the pistol.
No bodies just yet. There's the first, and it goes in their favor. Sato may be low, but he can never be forgotten. Sitting in that corner. And Mada has kind of become a null factor in this round. He needs to try and make that move, and he's been dealt with. It's the swing out from blows. Now the round is starting to tip in the favor of Leviathan. It's left all on to Kiko again, and although there was damage, nothing really converted off the back of it. They found that second pistol.
Well, I mean, NRG just didn't get to take a favorable fight there. They're ready for the A main play. Nobody comes as the round ticks on. Art gets pressured heavily, and everybody stuck down there in the pit. And the only alternative to it is, again, that angle of approach from Water that was very much on lockdown. That's wild considering how this started. NRG put players down to like... I think they had 3 players that were either 2 or 1 hits depending on what was coming their way. And yet they get out of there smelling the roses. NRG falling behind in this series, in this map. And now, an Eco that they're facing off against. Leviathan are playing this passive. King giving the space up. He's a man with a ghost in hand, and a few ghosts in front of him. He's taking 3 with ease. And a 4th walking right towards him. There's a 5th on offer, and he'll claim it! King with the ace to lock in 9-5.
Yeah. It almost seemed towards the end that Brock was like, you know, I'll just let him have it at this point. A clean round coming out from King, making sure that weaponry can be purchased up, and something I'm sure that the people watching will point out, a 3.14, a pie for Brock. It's not the game of his life, that's for certain.
Well, that graphic's going to go a lot harder now. They had the stage 1 comparison to London. The stats drop off for Brock's going to be a little further when we take this game into account, unless there's a big pickup for NRG right around the corner, because that's exactly where Leviathan's victory seems to be. A wall going up on both sides, but it's NRG's wall that slows the play.
Straight in though. Already looking for that opener. Kiko's managed to hide in the back line. Still only an even trade and counter utility being expended. That run it back was likely the one thing that could pad the gap between these buys. Bear in mind, this is of course the bonus round for Leviathan, so expectations maybe not quite as high. But losing Spike Scene early, he has been fantastic so far in this match. And of course, this has left Scuba relatively alone, but the rest of the players on NRG noting that there's no longer that same presence. Looking to re-clear into mid.
Neon might be very low, but everybody on NRG, excluding Brock, is 1 hit to him.
30 seconds left.
No ult anymore on Sato, sure, but with numbers even, that HP on Neon's a little bit more deceptive than you might think. Sure, a stray shot can take him down. The well-placed one from him can do just the same. The play towards the A site. It'll be Neon trying to fight up top, but the flank comes in immediately from Art, and that's the end of the round. Brock picking up a few, a confidence builder. It's NRG closing that gap, but still a healthy lead for Leviathan.
Yeah, Kiko once again ends up getting the majority. I think even if he doesn't, it would have been that flank to close it from Brock, but they just had everything that they needed in that round. A perfect read on the rotation. And I think that's going to be an important factor. The fact that there was nobody on that B site towards the end from NRG, they knew exactly what their opponents were doing. The fact is, though, Neon is going for the same again. Expecting some light shields to still be in play. We know how deadly he can be. Is he going to go through this? He's still going. He's still holding the line. There's a lot of players on the other side, but as you sort of mentioned, a bullet here might be enough to give them an advantage.
It was the same last round. It'll be the same this one. Brock, the only boy with full shields. You hear that outlaw ring out, you know you're in danger. LEV have been selecting it in a lot of the right rounds where their opponents have that little bit less money to spend, and a few credits shy of full shields allows Neon to build up a lot more money and still have, and arguably have even more impact than if he was on a rifle or an op, fighting for double digits. But when you look at what LEV have to work with, just a cosmic divide in terms of ultimates, but that could definitely help out when push comes to shove. It will be towards the A site. Site already there. You can hear on NRG's side that drone's coming through, but no rotates. Very patient on that B side, much to their detriment, as we can see.
It could just be bait. Of course, the single drone doesn't really sell the idea, but the cosmic divide does. Molotov into the back of the site. Marder just trying to play ahead, a kill and maybe just ducking out of there, but his teammate gets the kill first. They're going to play from that advantage. Spike scene clearing that further control. But it will be a post-plant with
planted.
that retake coming, and in fact, the attack looking to try and get a little bit more aggressive. They've spotted them going through, but they're winning all of the fights instead, putting them in a good position. Again, the trade's being expended and it's left down to just King. He manages to avoid the Steel Garden. His weaponry will still be in hand, and Kiko maybe not expecting it. Walks straight through. He now knows there's nobody on it as well. Sitting all the way back. Knows that Ethan could now potentially have it, but instead he's just gonna play it to perfection. A Red Bull clutch from King. I don't think anyone could have done that better.
And unless I'm mistaken, he didn't hear a thing. There was no step. There was no indication that Spike wasn't being stuck. Balls of steel. Gonna pay his dividends in this round to have him by your side. Double digits for the attackers. A 3-1 start to this half. And it seems like once Leviathan come out of the gates in that early half, it seems impossible to slow them down. We saw the same in the first half here. Once they got the ball rolling, it was a completely different game. And they've carried that momentum through to this half.
Again, all taken by Marder. Can have a few strays, but you have to look at the weaponry. This is the backbreaker round. This is a chance for Leviathan to make it to 11. And they are not shying away from a fight. Even with some of those weaker weapons in play, they are picking up the pace in towards the side. They go, but the fight's going the way of NRG, at least to start with.
They picked their fight so well. That salvo to slow and then a big swing to deal with the players there. Kings taking some space on the other side of the map. They're tapping the spike so early because they don't intend to hit A. They're not intending to plant here. In fact, they're leaving already because look at the space the King has found. There is nobody here. It's wide open. That's going to entice the spike over to the B site and give King a very early flank. But with no more noise on A after a plant tap, I mean, NRG are not stupid. They know what's going on, or what likely is.
He's not been seen. And you can see how diligent Scuba has been so far.
30 seconds left.
With a man advantage. They may even want to just try and play this as a retake anyway. Now those smokes coming through, utility being destroyed. Hoping to maybe find something with a spam, but they just don't want to risk it. The problem is there's still another snake in the grass. Timing is going to be everything, though. Neon is looking the wrong way. 3 players coming through now. They're going to spot him, and that's where he's taken out. A weapon upgrade as well for the side of NRG. And they're going to need a hero once again.
Well, King was the man that got them to plant. The snake in the grass that found all that space, but now the Hunter's Fury and post-plant won't matter unless they can put the numbers back to even, and they've done just that! 2 quick kills Blows following up on the damage with a shock dart, and now the Hunter's Fury pays dividends. It's a double tag! Death just around the corner with one more pulse, and Brock falls the round with them! Leviathan up to 11 with a sensational round!
So well played in that post plant. And everything went their way. I think it's the immediate swing through just a little bit early from Kiko. Again, it was the same in the last round. Gets pinged up, and that's enough to get him tagged. Then the shock dart takes him out. Then you see the strike. And once it gets to that point, both players being hit by the initial blast of that Hunter's Fury.
I'm out of here.
Blows has been so good
Go.
at just staying alive. And what could have been a chance to redeem themselves a little earlier ends with another clutch scenario, and just 2 rounds needed for LEV to make it to the playoffs.
And they start with an opening duel. This is NRG with some weaknesses, you might say, but when you take a look at the credits, the investments have been made. Putting it all on the line here. Leviathan find the opening and face off against weaker weapons. Face off against Ethan with 26 HP. Gust of wind would take him down. And for Leviathan, with a man advantage, with the calls Kings had so far, it's going to be a tough round from the get-go.
Hunter's Fury used.
Nice.
A lot being expended. Sato gone. And a chance for a tag, but not quite met. They've still got that convergence path set and ready. The ults are kind of what could save them in this round, but even still, it ends up level for the moment.
They dodged it.
25 seconds left on the clock. The time starting to become another member of the NRG camp, and the cross is wonderful. Mada instantly connecting. Brook brings himself up on the scoreboard a little as well. And what was a desperately needed round goes the way of NRG.
Especially after that opening pick. NRG do well to read the play correctly, staying towards B with 3, having that convergence path that slowed them down, put a bit more pressure on, but it's the shots landing from Mada. And Brock spamming with the Bulldog.
Winning, I'm telling you, we're winning every round macro-wise.
Okay, well, let's hope that keeps up. 4 rounds in between them. For NRG, it's going to have to be near flawless from this point forward. And again, starting with the same aggression we've seen from NRG. The shock dart right behind it, as before. Leviathan dodge all of the damage. And now they're closing in. And there's an ult on Spike Scene. This round, he's in their spawn! There's a player with a knife out. They don't even know where he is! The man is running riot in their backlines! And NRG, they're forced into a retake.
Thankfully, that ultimate is going to run out. King has been given a rifle though, and with everything he's done in this game so far, it would be foolish to doubt him much more. Calm from the other side, the spray though, there's King again. 22 kills already, and Scuba just cowering behind, but he's got a weaker weapon. The closer battle will help him, and that leaves it down to Neon. He had to teleport away and just look up the position. This might just be able to be stuck. Scuba could just sit all the way. Is he going to try and go the entire way? No, he's going to wait for the player to run through. Smartly played by Scuba. It's too close for comfort, but it's still a round.
Winning every round macro-wise. 3 more to put them even. And this started terribly. Spike Scene almost got 2. Almost got Kiko with his knife out in the spawn. King with that double as well. But the thing about this, Tom, is yeah, a round is a round, I'll give you that, but that round was somewhere that Leviathan didn't have a lot. That was just the ult of Spike Scene to get them the space, and the rifle picked up from his kill to give King a double. Making a round like that so close, with a 3-round advantage, NRG are far from out of the woods.
That push has finally been punished. Mada has been doing it a lot throughout the half. This time even with an operator. Brock is just waiting on the angle. This is a risk, there's no doubt about it. And yeah, I think the voice in the back of his head
Drone is down.
eventually
I'm all out.
goes for the safer play. The problem is it means they've given up pretty much all map control. They're passive within their own sights at this point, sure, and an Armageddon to help them, but with a tour de force, a run it back, even the Cosmic Divide has been causing issues throughout this map so far. The advantage sits firmly with Leviathan here.
I wonder if Ethan put that salvo through, because it was a fairly pointless salvo. You weren't going to get damage with it. It's from so far away, but I think he wanted to let them know he was close by before then reinforcing the other side of the map. The problem is Leviathan don't seem to care. Sure, you can have 2 players A, we'll kill 2 players on A then. And Neon,
30 seconds left.
I would be surprised if he doesn't get this kill. Brock is in a lot of trouble. And luckily, Brock won't be pushing that way anymore. Spike scene has sent him the other way.
Okay, looking to try and clear some of those closer angles. Instead, though, they've got a different problem to deal with. Sato makes sure they reclaim that space, and that tour de force is still dealing damage. A second kill already. And with the credits in a pretty dangerous position, this might just be all in for NRG. Stun will force back Neon at least. Scuba's done well once again, but that time has been ticking. A Gravwell still to buy additional time. They had to tap it. Now surely the clock is gone, but there's no way out. A cleanup for Leviathan. Just one more needed. And they go through to the playoffs and leave NRG behind.
And 4 chances to lock in playoffs as well. 4 playoffs points for Leviathan, the #2 team from Americas, showing NRG why they finished below them. This has been a masterclass. Ascent was clean, but for a young team like this to bounce back after the defeat that they were dealt on Lotus has got to be the most impressive for a team that already showed us on this stage that nerves can make a difference. But now it seems like those nerves are nowhere to be found. In fact, nerves of steel is all you'll find in the Leviathan camp. Spike scene runs it down for the opening. Kiko and Ethan on very weak weapons, but everybody is close by. NRG with weaknesses, of course, overreactions often follow. Now stacked up on this A site, Leviathan will be running into numbers if they continue forward. And they don't have any space elsewhere, so they may well have to.
I think just the pause. The problem is, for NRG, they also don't have information other than outside that B site. You mentioned it. With the weaker weapons, they have to gamble. They have to take risks. But with nothing being spotted,
It's a good call.
in towards mid, they're in the right place at the right time, but they are being watched. Everybody waiting for the re-swing. Again, playing above their